Hello friends. So this is the third lecture, The Landscape of the Soul by Nathalie Trouveroy. Now, interesting thing that we saw yesterday was the painting at the foot of the hill. Uda was painting. At the foot of the hill there is a cave. Then the painter claps, opens, and the painter enters. He immediately becomes conscious. But what happens to the king? So the emperor is not conscious, so he is left behind. So this is what I told you yesterday, that if you are not conscious, what will happen is that in what we say in Sanskrit or Hindi, we say Subodh, that is Sudarshan, that is. There's a Sudarshan chakra. So that means you are seeing the right thing. Sudarshan. Good, seeing good. Then you become conscious. Seeing good means seeing your desire to merge with the Almighty. It is at that time that you see good. All the other things are Maya. So that is Udao is painting us like that. He clapped his hands, then immediately what happens? He becomes conscious, and he wanted to make the king also conscious, but the emperor also conscious, but the emperor is left behind. You might remember the poem, that short poem by RobertFlorist, that is stopping by woods on a snowy evening. Probably you might have read that. So there what happens is, the traveler is lost in the beauty of this world. The woods are lovely, dark and deep. And woods filling with the snow, dark, very beautiful night, very beautiful evening. But then what happened is that the horse, he gives his harness bell a shake. So that makes the traveler conscious where he is, what he has to do. So he thinks, miles to go before I sleep, miles to go before. So like that. So here the clap, but he is left behind. And that is what we call you may call it the mysticism. You understand that? We are all invited to, there's a clap, but we are not listening to it. We are not responding to it. The clap is there always, but we are not responding. So what happens? As he enters the cave, the painting disappears. Painting disappears means the painting may be there, but it's of no use for the painter. It is maybe for the painting exists maybe only for the emperor, not the painter. Because the painter has already left the place and he has merged with the Almighty. Understand? So that clap, listen, please. What we should also do is that we should wait and listen to the clap. When there is a clap, the cave is open and you get it. Understand that? Yeah, now look at this. Such stories, such stories played an important part in China's classical education. Classical education, we can come to this. What is classical education, etc. we will see now. Played a part. To play a part means to play a role. For example, we can say the movements, independence movements, Mahatma Gandhi played a part. Not only a part, a very important part also. He played a part. He played his role. Played a part. The teacher plays a very important role in your education. Your mother plays a very important role. Father plays a very important role. You can make any number of sentences. Classical education means education of, say, education subjects are history, language and literature. No science there. So that is classical education means. Education in history, history, language and literature. Anecdote means an amusing story, small one, anecdote. Whenever friends meet, you tell anecdotes, very amusing stories of, for example, fooling a friend or some days pulling the leg of the teacher. Pulling the leg means not virtually, but say making fun of him, etc. That is, or these are all anecdotes, see. And you can see, you say, see the cap seller and the monkey. It is an anecdote, a very brief, short story. You probably might have come across that. Deeply revealing means presenting before us all the details. See, for example, the Good Samaritan story is deeply revealing about the necessity for loving your neighbor as yourself. Deeply revealing. Everything is very clearly given there. That is deeply revealing. So you can say the anecdote. Yes, but that cannot be called an anecdote. It is a serious thing. Okay. Then most representative of. Representative means type. The salwar and the churidar. That is the most representative dress of Indian women now. That is the type which represents, which you will find everywhere. South, north, or you can south, east, west, everywhere you will see that. So that is the most representative dress of women. And then contrast means difference. The contrast between this and that. The contrast between bitterness and sweetness. Difference. And sneaked into means get inside without being noticed. Sometimes you can see snakes sneak into your room without being noticed by you, and very dangerous also. Sneak into. Thieves sneak into your house without being noticed. If we notice, then that is not a snake, I mean thief. Delicate realism. Delicate realism means very you cannot, you know it is realistic spelling, but it is so delicate. Means, I am repeating that same word, that means it is there, but you cannot see. You can see, but it is not there. That can. For example, the delicate realism of certain paintings. You may think that it's all very clear, but it is not clearly seen. You may think it is not clear, but you will see this. That is delicate means. Delicate actually means what? He has got a delicate frame. His health is very delicate, means very weak. That's the meaning. A delicate health means weak health, not strong. But here it means it is there is something intangible here, something you cannot touch, but at the same time you can see everything. That is delicate. And then swat it away. Swat means something like this. That is hitting or trying to crush something is swat. Swat it away. Apprentice means a training. Once upon a time I was an apprentice. When you see cockroach, on the wall, you swat it like this. Swat it. Cockroach. Or when you see spider, you squat it like this. So that is crushing it with a hit. That is good. There are again some paintings you will find a delicate realism. Delicate realism you will find some paintings. So these are examples. Now Quinton Mitzi is the blacksmith who fell in love with the painter's daughter. Quinton Mitzi. Confucius, the Chinese philosopher who lived between 551 BC and 479 BC. His philosophy is known as Confucianism. And Confucianism means you can say morality in personal and governmental dealings. That is morality, it speaks about morality. How you should be good towards others. That is Confucianism. Then we have got a Zhuangzi or Zhuangzi. Both means the same. He was a 4th century BC philosopher, Chinese again. His philosophy is called Taoism or Taoism. Tao. Tao means the source of all energy. Tao, that means God. That is. So they also, what are they doing is, they are, the Taoism or Taoism teaches you to live in harmony with Tao. Harmony with, in peace with Tao. That means obeying the rules of nature or the God and other things. Means morality again. Good life, so to say. When you are living in harmony with God, you are leading a good life. Understand? So these are the points that you should remember when you read this. Played a part means took a part. Took a part. Classical education, history, language and literature. Anecdote means an interesting brief story about an event or a person. Deeply revealing means very clearly revealing. Mostly representative means type available seen. Contrast means difference. Sneak into enter without your knowledge or not, without being noticed. Panel. Panel has many meanings, so to say. You can say panel means a group of people who are selected for doing so. Panel of judges. A panel of interviewers is said like that. Panel. Or panel. Another meaning of panel is that a flat piece of board. You can say. Board or a cloth on which the painter paints. The painter's panel is a panel. Understand this? You know, at the end of the page, books you will find a footnote. So that is also called a panel. The place for the footnote is a panel. The many meanings are there. But here it means a board, a rectangular board, on which the painter paints. Or it can be a cloth or a canvas. That's the meaning of panel. So I left it out. Yes. So painters paint on panels. So the panel. Understand? That is. I think all the words are delicate realism. Delicate realism means it's something that it's very soft. Soft realism. That way you can see. If you have got a painting, you will see delicate realism. So and then you have got a swatic and apprentice training. And this names, etc. And also we will learn. So I told you about the Wu Dao, and there is another one, another anecdote. So Wu Dao's story is an anecdote. It's an interesting story, no? That is brief but small. You can see the painting disappears and so on. That kind of stories are called the Good Samaritan story is not an anecdote. It is a parable. It's called a parable. Okay, and then what happens is the book of Confucius and Zhuangzi are full of them. You know, sense stories, sense stories. It's an anecdote. I will tell you one. One day a professor went to a Zen to learn something from him. So the Zen master did not say anything. He asked the professor to sit down. Somebody brought a cup and a teapot. And the Zen master, what did he do? He poured the tea into the cup. The cup was overflowing. Still he continued to pour. And then the person went to the professor. He was a professor. So he asked, "Oh, master, what is this? You are pouring. It is the cup is full." Then he said, "If the cup is full, you cannot fill it. So if you want to learn something, then you have to empty your cup." That means he thought, or he could guess, that the professor has come there with his mind full of learning. So Zen master was trying to teach him a lesson. If you are the feeling that you are a scholar, then whatever I say will have no use to you. So that is an anecdote. Understand? Teaching. Anecdote. And that's what I told. Okay. So the book of Confucius and Zhuangzi are full of them. Means two philosophies, but almost the same. They help the master to guide his disciple in the right direction. So that is it. Now when I told you about the professor and the Zen master, then you see, you got an idea. That is when you are going to learn anything from anyone, you have to be very humble. And you have to make your cup empty. Cup means your mind empty. Otherwise you are not going to. If you are sitting in the class, when the class teacher is taking the class, oh, I know this. You are not going to learn anything. So this is how they taught. That is these two philosophies. Contrast this story or another famous one about a painter who wouldn't draw the eye of a dragon. He had painted for fear it would fly out of the painting. So a painter painted the dragon, but he refused to paint the eye. Why? Because the same problem. If he paints the eye, then the dragon will see the reality, and then it will disappear. Now what does that mean? When dragon will see if the painter paints the sea, the painter will be conscious of the Almighty. Look at that. The painter, it is the inner eye of the painter that he is going to paint. Then this dragon will disappear, fly out. Because when you meet the Almighty, when you become merged with the Almighty, what is the use of all these things? They are trash. So that is why he refused to paint the dragon's eye. Dragon's eye, once he paints, then he will become conscious of the reality. With an old story, fear it will fly out of the painting. With an old story from my native Flanders. The author is from Belgium. Flanders, that I find most representative of Western painting, type of Western painting. So it says, contrast the dragon story, dragon painting, with the painting in my place. Flanders, I told you, Flanders is, Flanders is Dutch-speaking northern part of Belgium. Dutch language they speak. So Dutch-speaking northern part of Belgium is Flanders, and Antwerp is the city, port city of Belgium. Port city. As I said, compare these two. That is Udao's painting of the landscape, and also this painter whose name is not given, dragon, refuses to paint the eye because he thinks that he will also become conscious and then it will fly out. Fly out means not literally flying out, he will throw it away. It won't be there at all. That's the thing. Representative. Now, these are two anecdotes to tell you about how the Chinese looked at the painting. Now, what about this Western painting? In 15th century, Antwerp is the portion of the city, port city of Belgium, Antwerp. In 15th century Antwerp, a master blacksmith called Confucius fell in love with a painter's daughter. Very simple, isn't it? It's a love affair. But we say, ek ladki se pyar kiya. Hindi, if you want it. The father would not accept a son-in-law in such a profession. The father is a painter and would be, you can say, is a blacksmith. He said, no, I don't want such a person. And then what did the blacksmith do? So Quinlan sneaked into the painter's studio. Sneaked in without being noticed, he entered. And painted a fly on his latest panel. a flat wooden piece on which he paints, that is latest panel, with such delicate realism. That is delicate realism. You will, if you look at that, you will feel that it is real and it is there. The stuff is there. That is delicate. Means you are sure, or the painting deceives your eye, and you will think that it is real and not an illusion. That is delicate realism. So that perfect realism, if you want to put it like that, you can say. That the master tried to swat it away before he realized what had happened. So the master entered the studio, then he found a fly on his panel. He gave one. Doesn't move. See? You remember another painting now, that is the last leaf. You must have come across that story. The last leaf. O. Henry's old Burman painter the leaf, and then thus he saves the life of another painter. That story, the last leaf, famous story. So it's delicately, what you call say, the word you can say, that is a painting, delicate realism, example for. The last leaf, delicate realism. So the sick painter thought, she was sick, she was suffering from fever. She thought like that, the leaf falls, I will die. So Burman, old Burman, but what happened? He sacrificed this life. It was a rainy day, snowy day, but he managed to reach the wall there, and then he painted the leaf. And it was with such a delicate realism. That's a beautiful example for that. The old Burman's painting of the leaf in the story last leaf is with as he said, with such delicate realism. I think now that is clear to you. So then delicate realism, with such delicate realism, that means you thought it is natural and it is real. That's so she thought that she gets confidence now, and then she recovers from her fever. These things, probably must have read these things. And the poem also, which I referred to now, that is about stopping by woods on a snowy evening. All right, my friends, I hope you are enjoying these things, and if you are not read, you must read both these. The last leaf by O. Henry and also Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening is such a beautiful story. And you know that the last stanza, miles to go before I sleep and miles to go before I sleep, quoted in many places by many people. It was said that Jawaharlal Nehru wrote those two lines and kept it on his table. Miles to go before I sleep. That is. And then Quinton was immediately admitted as an apprentice. Then the painter knew he is better than me. Okay, so he will come as my trainee in his studio. He married his beloved and went to become one of the most famous painters of his age. That is. These two stories illustrate what each form of art is trying to achieve. These two stories means, already I have said two stories, but these two stories means the dragon story and the fly story. And then these two stories illustrate. Illustrate means give, illustrate likeness. Illustrate means example, illustration, example. Or it presents clearly, illustrates. Usually teachers when they want to explain difficult thing, they illustrate it with examples. When they supply it with the examples. That's it. Then these two stories illustrate what each form of art is trying to achieve. A perfect illustration of likeness in Europe. Excuse me. A perfect illusionistic likeness in Europe. Illusionistic. That is, the fly is a perfect illusionistic likeness. The leaf, the perfect illusionistic likeness. Illusion means it deceives your eyes. You think that it is real, but it is not real. That is illusion. Illusionistic likeness. Oh, illustrate likeness. Illusionistic likeness, illustrate. So illusionistic is not written there. So I will write there also. Illusionistic. Sorry. Illusion. That is. So illusionistic. That means actually it is illusion, but you think that it is real. So example is here. 2 examples I gave you. Illusionistic likeness of the fly, illusionistic likeness of the last leaf, and so on. In Europe, the essence of inner life and spirit in Asia. So, in the Western painting, that is the end in itself. But in Chinese or Asian, isn't it? In Europe, and the essence of the Asia, Chinese painting, etc. What do you find? There is something behind. See, I will just recite 2 lines from 2 poems, then you will understand it. See, Christopher Marlowe, you have heard. He wrote a very beautiful poem, we can say. You can also read it, it's a short poem. That is the passionate shepherd to his love. The passionate shepherd to his love. That's the poem, title of the poem. And the poem begins like this. Come live with me and be my love. Come live with me and be my love. So there what happens is, it is actually, what does that line tell you? It is a full stop there. Come be with me. But compare that or contrast that with those famous lines of John Keats. Heard melodies are sweet, but those unheard are sweeter. It opens a cave before you. Isn't it? Come live with me and be my love, full stop. That is Western painting. But the other one, heard melodies are sweet, but those unheard are sweeter. That is Eastern painting, if you can say. Because it opens, it is an open-ended one. But this one it is closed. Like that. You take the Asian paintings, we have already seen the dragon painting and also the landscape painting. There is, behind that there is something. Essence is there. So it has got an inner life. Inner life. And this is the difference between Western painting and the European painting. European painting is illusionist likeness. How natural they can make it, they will make it. But in this case, it is not like that. Something is left out. There the cave is closed. Here the eye is there. The eyes. What happened? Once you paint the eye, then you will become conscious and the dragon will fly out. So he does not want to do that. There is a dilemma for it. I hope you have been following and enjoying my classes. Then you should share. So till we meet again, bye, have a nice time. But here you have, please remember, mass prevents the killer, business prevents the killer, cleanliness prevents the killer, healthy life prevents the killer. Prevention is better than cure. Bye, have a nice time, enjoy your life.